Now, with the time coming up to 22, anyone heading to Spain this Easter may well face chaos after the unions there announced 22 days of strikes at Spanish airports over the whole spring-summer period. In fact, these are walkouts by ground staff planned over Easter, and then further disruption expected in May and then later on during the peak summer season. The boss of Ryanair, Michael O'Leary, has urged the European Commission to step in and prevent these strikes from actually going ahead. Let's talk to Francesca Nand. She's a travel journalist who's written for a number of newspapers and grew up in Spain. Hello to you. 22 dates, it's an extensive list. How strong are these unions here? How much of this is real sabre rattling? What would you say with the chances are of this actually happening?
I think they've given us enough time to think about it this time, which they did back in December. They're very, very strong, but the military are very strong in Spain. And last time, I don't know if you remember, this happened in December the 3rd and 4th. The strike did go ahead, but after they'd been striking for several hours, the military took over the airports and said, right, if you don't get back to work now, we're going to send you to prison. You know, so that's pretty forceful in return. So I think at the moment I would be cautiously optimistic that they might not go ahead. You know, we do have that month breathing space, and hopefully, you know, talks are now beginning to happen.
But I guess the problem is that we know that Spain is so incredibly reliant on the tourism industry. It's a major factor in its economy, and anyone thinking about their summer holiday now, I guess the concern for Spanish hoteliers and so on is, will people back away from Spain just in case?
I've spoken to people this morning and they're already thinking about not cancelling their flight, because if you cancel your flight you won't get a refund now, but people are thinking about postponing booking. And of course tourism is tremendously important for the Spanish economy. You've got 40% unemployment in places, particularly the tourist resorts. So, you know, the Spanish are going to be very, very disappointed about this themselves and really try their hardest, I think, to make sure everything gets back on track as soon as possible. And British holidaymakers, it's terrible for us really, isn't it? You know, we've been hit by the ash clouds, by the BA strikes, by snow, by previous Spanish strikes, and it's just so disappointing all round.
Well, staycation, you see, that's what we're meant to be doing, isn't it? To help our economy.
I can't do it, I don't care. Go abroad, you need a little bit of sunshine. The trouble is, if you've got something booked already, there's nothing you can do about it at the moment. Until something is actually cancelled, there's nothing you can do right now. If you started cancelling, you wouldn't get a refund, you wouldn't get anything back. So you've just got to like sit and hope for the best and just watch it. And if you've got a certain degree of flexibility, you know, last time the operators do want you to get away, you just might have to wait at the airport for 24 hours while they get you on the next flight, which isn't much fun, really.
And inside Spain itself, I mean, you talk about how important it is to the economy. What is the mood towards all of those who are threatening to strike? I mean, what was the mood back at the last strike that you mentioned in December? Because they might have sympathy for their economic situation and what they're striking about, but equally, that's other people's livelihoods too.
There's a certain amount of sympathy, but people in Spain go on holiday too. They do it in a slightly different way. They don't necessarily have their big 3-week break like we do. They go on little breaks throughout the year, sort of tagged around their many national holidays. But they want to go away. Easter is a massive deal in Spain. You know, they're going to be visiting friends and families. They're going to be using the airports too. They want to get abroad, and you know, they're just as disappointed and you know, as hopeful as that it won't go ahead as we are, really.
Well, we simply have to wait and see right now, don't we? Thank you very much for now. Francesca Nand, thank you.
Now, a new survey claims that average council tax bills for homes in England will fall slightly this year. The government has given £650 million to local authorities to help them freeze the tax. Well, let's head to Westminster and speak to the Housing Minister.